Look at the historical record of King Solomon, and you'll find an ancient monarch defined by his wealth, his intellect, and a massive scale of engineering. But buried in the 7th chapter of 1 Kings is a jarring detail. Solomon spent 7 years building the temple of God, and a full 13 years building a personal palace for himself. His private residence was called the Forest of Lebanon. The sheer volume of rare imported cedar required for its columns and paneling was staggering. That uneven timeline reveals a shift in priorities. The wisest king in history was pouring almost twice the time and resources into his own residence than he did into the divine. But right next door to this project, a very different kind of work was happening. Solomon had hired a master artisan named Hiram to craft the artifacts for the temple. While Solomon's attention remained on his personal monuments, Hiram was busy manufacturing a series of objects that would define the daily mechanics of the nation's worship. Looking at this scale model of the ancient temple complex, you see the layout starts with a wide outer courtyard where all the bronze artifacts were stationed. Flanking the inner sanctuary entrance stood 2 towering bronze pillars, specifically named Jachin and Boaz. Translated, those names mean he establishes and in strength. They acted as a psychological checkpoint. Anyone walking past was reminded that stability comes entirely from God, rather than from human engineering. Nearby sat the bronze sea, a colossal basin resting on the backs of 12 bronze bulls. Its function was strictly operational. It provided the fresh water necessary for the priests to ritually cleanse themselves. These heavy bronze objects laid out the prerequisites for ancient worship. Before anyone could step into the holy space, they required cleansing and a reliance on strength that was not their own. Move past those pillars, and the environment changes. You leave the bright open courtyard and enter the holy place, a restricted, windowless room. The materials shift instantly. The utilitarian bronze of the courtyard is replaced by pure, reflective gold on every surface. You are now in close proximity to the divine. Inside, the golden altar had a specific technological function. It was designed for burning incense, generating a continuous column of rising smoke. That smoke was a physical model for a theological reality. It prefigured endless intercession, representing prayers continuously rising upward on behalf of humanity. Next to it sat the golden table. Its job was to hold the showbread, ensuring there was always a physical display of fresh food inside the inner sanctum. That constant supply of physical nourishment mapped to its ultimate fulfillment. It previews Christ as the eternal bread of life, the one who sustains his people. Then there was the golden lampstand, a piece of operational necessity. Because this inner chamber had 0 windows, without that lampstand, the entire room would be in complete darkness. The physical necessity of that light source finds its realization in Christ. He is the light of life, designed to break through spiritual darkness. These vessels operated as functional tools, engineered to model the specific ways a future mediator would eventually serve the people. Which brings us back outside, to Solomon's 13-year palace project. After all that imported timber and labor, what remains of his Forest of Lebanon today? Look at the archaeological reality. Despite the premium materials and the manpower, Solomon's residence has been entirely erased by time. The physical stones and cedar rotted away, but the legacy of the temple vessels followed a different path. The actual bronze and gold objects were eventually lost, but their core functions never ceased. They were assumed and upgraded by a perfect king. The history of the temple suggests that lasting stability is found in the spiritual functions these vessels modeled, the constant intercession, sustenance, and light that continue long after the physical gold has been lost.